Kronos Quartet is the American group who produced this album. R.D. Burman. Songs from Bollywood, R.D. Burman's Bollywood. So they are classical musicians, grown up on Beethoven, Bach, Mozart. So I was asking David Harrington, he's the leader of the group, how would you compare him to Western classical musicians because you have grown up? So he said, I would put him in the league of Schubert. And he said that it's a big thing to compare anybody to Schubert. We picked up some more songs. I said, David, you haven't heard these, some of those songs which are, rare. I said, listen to these. So he heard all of that. When we finished the recording, in San Francisco we had recorded. So he came back and he said, Anand, I'd like to correct myself. So I said, what? I said, I said he was Schubert, but no, he's Mozart.
जब उसने कोई चीज़ बनाई तो ये नहीं था, घमंड नहीं था कि मैंने बनाया है तो गाइए, आप सिंगर हैं, गाइए अभी आप, ऐसा नहीं था। मैं चेंज कर दूं, अच्छा नहीं है ना मैं ये कर दूं, मैं कहा ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे हैं? मुश्किल था। मैंने कहा मैं मेहनत करूँगी, चेंज मत करो। उसको ये भी पता था कि आर्टिस्ट को बोलो चेंज कर दूं तो आर्टिस्ट का ईगो खड़ा हो जाता है कि हम कैसे नहीं गाएंगे। तो ये भी था उसमें। ये सीखने वाली बात है किसी भी म्यूजिक डायरेक्टर को कि आर्टिस्ट को आप गाना सिखा रहे हैं, गाना उसने सीख लिया, अब उसके बाद रिकॉर्डिंग शुरू होती है। अगर आप किसी को रोकेंगे, टोकेंगे, खराब कहेंगे, कुछ कहेंगे तो वो इंसान जो है वो भी चला जाता है। तो उसको उभारते रहना, वाह बहुत अच्छे, बहुत अच्छे, बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन थोड़ा सा ही करो, ये जो होता है ना, इससे सब लोग खुश। उसका रिकॉर्डिंग होने से सभी खुश रहते थे, कोरस से लेके बिल्कुल मतलब दरवाजे का वो जो खड़े होने वाला सर, लोगों के फ़ोन आते थे मुझे कि पंचम का गाना होगा तो हमें बुलाना।
गाना था कतरा कतरा मिलती है, कतरा कतरा जीने दो। एक तो पहले ही बहस की थी उसने, कतरा कतरा क्या कोई गाना शुरू होता है कतरा से? ये कोई लफ्ज़ है? कोई बूंद बूंद समझे, कोई सॉफ्ट सामान की बात हो, कोई पानी की बात हो तो समझ में आती। कतरा कतरा बड़ा लफ्ज़, इससे कहाँ से शुरू होगा? तो मैं कहा नासी मैं बदल देता हूँ, लाइन बदल देता हूँ। मैं लाइन बदल के भी दी, लोग कंपोज करते करते फिर रुका। तो उसने शौकन से कहा, अच्छा बात सुनो, ये अगर वाकई कतरे की तरह ट्रीट करें, कतरा कतरा मिलती है, कतरा कतरा मिलती है, इट मेक्स अ वेरी नाइस इंटरेस्टिंग बिगनिंग। मैं बैठा हुआ था तो उसने देखा कि ये मुस्कुरा रहा है। हाँ कुछ नहीं, तुम चेंज करना चेंज कर लो, नहीं तो ये है ना पड़ेगा। मुझे मालूम था कि क्या होने वाला, घूम के आता है वो करेगा। तो रिकॉर्डिंग में जाके म्यूजिक भी नहीं बैठा मेरे साथ, तो कुछ लाइनें एक ट्रैक पे आधी छोड़ दी आशा जी की। तो मैं क्या बैठे रहो बताते हैं तुम्हें। तो आधी छोड़ के यहाँ पे लाइन, उसके बाद फिर बीच में एक लाइन छोड़ के अगली लाइन में। उस गाने में अगर आपने देखा हो तो आशा जी अपनी ही आवाज के ऊपर आलाप लेकर दूसरी लाइन आती है, उसी पे आलाप। तो जब वो किया उसने तो मेरी तरफ मुस्कुरा के देखा। टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया लेके आते थे, अब इसे पिक्चराइज करो। तो ना दैट्स सच अ क्रिएटिव चैलेंज, एंड दैट काइंड ऑफ क्रिएटिविटी एंड दैट काइंड ऑफ शेयरिंग, it's not an everyday affair, it's not everywhere, it doesn't happen everywhere.
दत्त साहब का जो रोल था, भोले का रोल, वो दैट वाज, आप लोगों को मालूम नहीं, इट वाज ओरिजिनल कास्टिंग वाज आर डी बर्मन इन प्लेस ऑफ दत्त साहब। ऐसा था कि आर डी बर्मन, महमूद, किशोर कुमार, सायरा बानो, बट देन पंचम, आई डोंट नो व्हाट हैपेंड बिकॉज ही वर्कड इन भूत बंगला एंड प्यार का मौसम। तो एक वो था, मे बी महमूद वांटेड हिम टू डू दिस रोल, बट लेटर ऑन दत्त साहब ने किया।
he used to, ये गाना बनाने के बाद he used to work on it, the way he used to work on it, that was very praiseworthy. I think his chalan could never be matched by any other music director. Everybody tried. वो पंचम के बीट्स ले, पंचम के बीट्स लेके क्या होगा? पंचम की उसमें जो सोल था, वो सोल की तरह.
एक आदमी की जो विजुअलाइज करते थे गाना कहाँ से उसका ऑर्केस्ट्रेशन, कहाँ पर ब्रास बीच में आ रहा है, कहाँ से बीच में तारशनाई बज रही है, कहाँ संतूर बज रहा है, कहाँ सितार आ रही है, जो आजकल अक्सर जिक्र करते हैं कि फ्यूजन म्यूजिक. मैं समझता हूँ बेस्ट फ्यूजन म्यूजिक हमारी हिंदी फिल्मों में हुआ है, और उसकी एक मिसाल है R.D. बर्मन का म्यूजिक, कि अलग अलग किस्म के इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स, जो सिम्फनी में पूरा ऑर्केस्ट्रा होता है वो सब चीज़ें वहाँ हैं. वायलिन्स हैं, व्योलाज हैं, चेलोज हैं, टिम्फनी है, बेस गिटार भी है, मॉडर्न जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट हैं इलेक्ट्रॉनिक गिटार भी है, और उसके साथ में सारंगी भी है, उसके साथ में संतूर भी है, उसके साथ में सरोद सितार भी है, तबला भी है, ढोलक भी है. तो ये दिस इज द आइडियल काइंड ऑफ फ्यूजन विच ही कुड क्रिएट इन दोज टाइम्स.
These 9 musicians they are all solist. You can give them anything, they will play. वहाँ पे कोई पंचम नहीं है और कोई बासुदा नहीं है और कोई अपना मनोरी नहीं है, कोई कुछ नहीं, सब they are all, everybody is R.D. Burman and everybody is musician. Even Pancham is also a musician and everybody is R.D. Burman. They are working like a family. टाक 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 ये बोला ये और 20 मिनट में गाना रेडी हो गया. Like that they used to compose songs in minutes.
जवानी ए दीवानी मेरी रानी. Now a musician who has not learnt music, इस गाने का अंतरा, if you have to start the antara without a musical instrument, it is practically impossible, because है जवानी है दीवानी, where does the antara begin? It begins बातें मुलाकात. It's somewhere out.
It's modulated.
La, la, la. If you start it somewhere, बातें मुलाकात, you'll go and land somewhere else. You know, it starts somewhere outside, which is not part of the scale. It goes in a key shift, and the last line comes back to the key where the song is. So these are the things which he was fantastic. Yeah.
Now, see, Aradhna is not R.D. Burman's album, technically speaking. It was his father's album. But I know for a fact that he had a big part to play in it, because Roop Tera Masana, apparently the original composition was completely different. The melody was the same, but apparently R.D. rephrased everything and put in that one magic chord,
that
which was
minor
there,
six,
the
I
minor
love
6
it.
chord, which is like,
I just love it.
So that was there, and unheard of in Hindi music, The thing is, after that, when I spoke to a couple of filmmakers who worked with him, towards his last years, actually made the statement that the record company said that, who's your music director? So this guy said, it's R.D. and it's Pancham da. Please don't use him. His music doesn't sell. They actually had the guts to say that.
We always imagined
What would he be like today?
What would he be like today with all the technology available? He would have created so many unimaginable things,
He was known for his vocal rhythms, where he incorporated the breath as one aspect of rhythm, which took me a while to figure out how to do that kind of rhythm. But for him, he was a natural at that. And then, of course, his way of using but he used that distorted spit sound from the throat as a dunya mein logo ko, but making it sound musical and making it sound good.
Sensitive, generous to a fault. Generous to a fault, not just in kind but also in emotion. He gave of his emotion and his life, I think, with such sincerity and so much of dedication and honesty. No, that's what was sad, really. And as I say, generous to a fault. Loved the good life, loved good food, loved people's company. Give me a rose when I can still smell it, not after I'm dead and gone. And I wish that people could have done that with Panchamda as well. Give him all the love and appreciation and acknowledgement that he rightly deserved at the time when he could have really enjoyed.
He wasn't alive the day Filmfare happened, and Love Story 1942 got all the awards, and that was the first time I walked up on stage for my first Filmfare. And I know that when I was on stage, I was almost crying, not because of the success of my having got a Filmfare award, but his absence, that he was not there to see how the whole industry was giving him a standing ovation for the work he had done, and how he would have risen to the top again. I know that even after his death posthumously, he's the most successful music director. All the remixes being made today, all the younger generation, the kind of songs they all like, it's all Panchamda's songs. Panchamda is living through, he's lived through his time, now he's living through the next generation. But sometimes I feel sorry he was not there to see all this in the end. Because he's such a nice person, because he's really such a sweet person.
I think Pancham was really India's complete film composer, because there were many composers before him and many composers, his contemporaries and even thereafter. And I find that he could do something which was so unique. He could do everything that they could and much more, but they couldn't do everything that he could. So in that one respect, I think he was quite unique. And of course, as I said, in today's context, he was really global, he was international, he was eternal. And it really pains me to talk about him so many years afterwards, because I find that this posthumous recognition and saying, oh, he was ahead of his time and today's youngsters love him and today's composers copy him, emulate him. But what happened to, it was the same music, it was there around, and people just ignored him. And somewhere or the other, I do feel that, like Mozart, who died prematurely, Mozart was really appreciated after his death. And maybe Pancham probably is going to go the same way of eternal fame because he was posthumously recognized.
I'm told, I'm not very sure, but I'm told that he died penniless. And I have no reason to believe it. And then every reason to believe it also, because his close and near and dear ones told me that. And I have no reason to believe it because I knew he did a lot of films. Not only with me, with everybody else and all my friends. I don't know where all that money went. It's none of my business to get personal with him and his accounts and his family. But like your hearsay says, Pancham says, Sapang says that he made the music. I also say that he died this way, I'm told, but I don't believe it.
वो वक्त भी मैंने देखा कि जब पंचम के बेहतरीन दोस्तों ने उनका साथ छोड़ दिया और वो बिल्कुल ही अकेले पड़ गए. मतलब जैसे अंग्रेज़ी में कहते हैं ना कि his back was against the wall, वो सिचुएशन थी. और उस वक्त देखिए किस्मत से वो पिक्चर मिली लव स्टोरी 1942 कि जिसमें मेरे ख्याल से पंचम ने म्यूज़िक ये सोच के दी थी कि अब इस बार फैसला होना हमेशा के लिए. और फैसला हुआ, लेकिन अफसोस ये है कि जब वो म्यूज़िक रिलीज़ हुई तब तक वो इस दुनिया में थे नहीं. और आज बहुत बात करते हैं लोग पंचम के बारे में, लेकिन सच ये है कि उनकी ज़िंदगी में जो आखिरी हिस्सा था, आखिरी वक्त था, उसमें उनके साथ कोई रहा नहीं था.
many people who I'm sure you've interviewed, most of them, who completely disowned R.D. Burman when he was alive. Actually, 1942, none of those people sang any songs because there was a complete, they had given up on this man totally. And not given up, they had, in my opinion, neglected a genius. I don't think that's the right word. I think they had destroyed, in my opinion, a genius emotionally, and therefore his music suffered. And when he died, and that also was extremely emotional because I was with him that night till 8:39. He had to go to Shakti Samant's house for dinner, and we were working on the background music. And morning, Saddam calls me around 5:36, I think, and he said he's no more. And I was completely shocked and stunned. And of course, I was there. And all these people who had completely disowned him were crying, and I was so lost. I said, finally, people own him. People who disowned him for all his life.